From the Watergate Building in Washington, this is Hotline TV. Now, here's Hotline editor, John Mercurio.
It's Tuesday. Welcome to Hotline TV.
After a week of confrontation on Capitol Hill, the pressure on Alberto Gonzales to resign continues to mount. In the face of the snowballing controversy, Gonzales did little to help his cause before an already skeptical Senate Judiciary Committee last week. Amy Walter, is he going to survive another week? What's been keeping this guy around so long already?
That is a very good question. What has been keeping him so long? You know,
it's the Gonzo, if I may. It's the Scooter and Gonzo show. The Muppet show of the Bush administration. Scooter Libby, Alberto Gonzales. Scooter and Gonzo. It's a line that I just sort of came up with. Yeah, I just came up with it in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
Feel free to use that.
I'll make sure to write that down and use that somewhere in a speech.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think if you're the President of the United States right now, and you're obviously the word embattled is used quite often in describing your relationship with Congress, your relationship with the voters, do you really want to be in the position of having to actually fire Alberto Gonzales? It would be a lot easier if simply the resignation would come.
But isn't that just that's something that could be smoothed over in the process? Look, none of us ever have to know the actual conversation that goes on between Bush and Gonzales, at least not right now. I think Gonzales needs to, to help preserve the Bush administration's stability as it exists right now. He needs to the announcement needs to come out of the White House that he has submitted his resignation.
Exactly, and let's just move on. But the reality is, and I think this storyline is getting dragged out so long simply because the storyline is focused on Gonzales. The problem, though, could be once Gonzales is gone, then the storyline focuses back on these issues. And was this political? The emails are still an email controversy, i.e., where are we going to find more that are coming from RNC accounts, et cetera? And then the focus goes on to people like Domenici and others who've been caught up in this. So in some ways, it's almost better that the focus is on a lame duck, Attorney General than, boy, what are the problems underneath this that will continue?
I was actually having a conversation about this last week with the Republican on the Hill who said, I think that what we need from the administration is for Gonzales to resign because that would be the end of the story. Democrats obviously feel very differently.
Absolutely.
Democrats think that obviously the story continues. Republicans, though, think, and I think they have some polling on this, that shows that there's no real public appetite for this storyline, the U.S. attorneys, the prosecutor purge, to continue into the spring and into the summer. They really feel like there's been a strong focus or distraction from the more important issues going on in Iraq. So Democrats could, at least according to a lot of Republicans on the Hill, could be overstepping their bounds by trying to drag this out beyond the resignation of Alberto Gonzales. You know, you've seen a lot of focus on Karl Rove and a lot of other storylines, including the Scooter Libby trial. And I think to some extent there is a limited amount of damage Democrats can do to this White House by picking on Karl Rove. I mean, Sheryl Crow, for God's sakes. Why was she picking on Karl Rove at the dinner? Karl Rove's just sitting there trying to enjoy his dinner at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Sheryl Crow and Lori David come over and start picking on him.
Well, now he knows what it's like to try to eat dinner being famous. Don't you think that happens to Sheryl Crow all the time?
That's true. And after the radio TV Correspondents' Dinner where Karl Rove was the entertainment, I can see why there was a little bit
But, it just paints the bigger problem here for Republicans, which is if it's not Alberto Gonzales and it's not dealing with the fallout there, then it's Doolittle and Renzi, Congressman Doolittle and Renzi, having their businesses and homes raided by the FBI.
And at least Gonzales has the FBI on his side, where Doolittle and Renzi
well, that's an interesting point. I didn't really think about that as much. Touching on that. So the reality is that it's just one of these, the drip, drip, drip is not just the drip, drip, drip of how long Gonzales is going to be around, but how many other stories between now and the end of this year are going to come out. And will there ever be a time when we're talking about Republicans having a good week? Because I don't know the last time we've said that.
That was sort of something I remember at the end of 2006. It was multi-tiered scandals. If you weren't talking about Mark Foley, you were talking about Iraq, you were talking about something else. All right, looks like we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us, Amy Walter, and thank you for joining us on Hotline TV.